She erased us from her wedding, so I'm erasing her from mine. When my brother got married, his bride, now my sister-in-law, had very specific expectations. She wanted everyone in the family to wear their wedding colors, and we all did. People flew in from out of state. Everyone made an effort to make her feel celebrated. The day before the wedding, she made some offhanded, but clearly pointed remarks about how our side of the family never takes anything seriously, and she wasn't expecting us to take this seriously either. The comments made their rounds, and feelings were hurt before the wedding even began. But we still showed up, looked great, and participated. Fast forward to getting the wedding photos and video. Not a single photo of our side of the family was posted. Not one. In the entire 3-minute highlight reel, no faces from our family except a 3-second clip of my parents with the bride and groom. The rest of us, it's like we never existed. I texted her, cordially, and asked if she could send me the pictures with just our siblings, since none had been posted. She responded that we never took those pictures. That's wild because I remember helping people adjust corsages for them. She doubled down on the gaslighting. I gave it 6 months and asked again. She suddenly had no idea what I was talking about. Fine, here's where the petty revenge comes in. I'm getting married in 8 days. I've been engaged for 6 months and planning this moment since she tried to erase us. I hired a great photographer and videographer. What she doesn't know is that the videographer has a secret mission. Make it look like she's getting all the attention. Track her. Hover near her like she's the star of the show. She will feel so seen. And then, the final cut? She won't appear for even 1 second. Just like she made sure we didn't. I didn't even invite her originally. Word must have gotten out because she cornered me at a family dinner and said, "Unfortunately, I have to work the day before and after your wedding, but I should still be able to make it." I was so stunned I just said, "That's fine. The Airbnb is booked whether you're there or not, so now she's coming." Ugh. To cope, I spelled her name wrong on the wedding invite on purpose. That was my first move. The video blackout will be my last. Not asking for advice, not asking if it's too mean. It's not. It's exactly fair. Happy to finally talk about it freely.
Am I wrong for kicking my 18-year-old son out of the house? My son Jackson, 18M, just graduated, class of 2025, from high school with a very low GPA. He still managed to graduate, but he was the type of kid to go to parties and hook up with girls and not care about his grades. I, 38F, have tried my best to instill the best behaviors I can into him, but it's not working. Over the summer, he was fired from 2 of his part-time jobs for being late and not doing his job. So naturally, being his mom, I've tried to scold him, take away his phone, but nothing works. He just wants to sit in his room playing video games all day. Jackson goes as far as eating leftovers that I had pre-made for my lunch and steal some cash for a new video game every now and again. So 3 days ago, I kicked him out. I'll lay it out for you guys. Basically, Jackson went to yet another party and he took my credit card. Now he has never crossed that line, but once he did, there was no going back. I put all of his clothes into a garbage bag and put it on the porch with a note that basically said, "Get your life together, or you can't live here anymore." He's tried texting me and begging me to reconsider, but I have put my phone down. I just hope I'm doing the right thing. Jackson has moved in with a friend, and that friend's mom has texted me and called me a horrible person for throwing her son out. But honestly, I think I did the right thing. Am I the bad guy?
My girlfriend, 23F, broke up with me, 27M, last week, but she still expects me to give her a ride home for Thanksgiving prior to breaking up last Wednesday. My girlfriend, 23F, and I, 27M, had been together for just over 3 years. Up until this past August, she lived in Georgia, about 2 hours away from where I was living in South Carolina. In August, she moved up to New York for graduate school, and in order to be closer to her, I found a job and moved to DC. Things had been a bit rough in the months leading up to August, and the stress of moving and starting grad school / a new job certainly didn't help things. Given the rough few months we had had, she was left questioning whether or not she still wanted to be in a relationship with me. She voiced her uncertainty to me on the phone last Monday and expressed to me that she had a strong desire to go out and have some experiences with other men, to go on dates and see what else was out there. I told her this wasn't at all what I wanted, that I wanted to work through these hard times together. She responded by saying if she didn't go out and have these experiences, even if things improved, she would always regret it. And that's where we left things. When we spoke the next day, she had decided she wanted to come down to SC and spend a few days with me for Thanksgiving break before returning home to visit her family. There was one catch, though. On Friday the 17th, I'm driving from DC to SC on the 16th for my B-day on Thanksgiving break. I was going to have to drive 2 hours from my home in SC to pick her up from the airport in North Carolina, and then 2 hours back. The following Monday, I would have to drive her 2 hours from home to take her to Georgia to be with her family, and 2 hours back. Then Sunday after Thanksgiving, I'd have to go 2 hours out of my way and pick her back up in Georgia, and then have her ride with me all the way back to DC, where she would fly out to NY. At this point, I voiced my confusion given the conversation from the previous day. She said she thought one positive experience together could really turn things around, and that she wanted to give it a shot. She had the flight up and ready to book, and there was only one seat left. So despite my voicing my desire to talk things out first, she went ahead and booked it. The next day, I tried to talk to her about her desire to date other men and about how we could improve our relationship and work through the rough times we'd been having, and it ultimately led to her breaking up with me. Since then, we haven't had all that much communication. She has ignored most of my texts, and the ones she has responded to, she's been rather rude mean. I pointed this out, and her response was, "It's unreasonable of you to expect us to be friendly right now. It's too soon," which honestly, I understand. She's right. Then she texts me and tells me that she still needs me to pick her up and take her home, and that she still needs to ride with me back to DC. She doesn't have the money to change her flight, and she doesn't have anyone else to pick her up. I told her I didn't feel I owed her that, as she broke up with me. She pointed out that I had committed to coming, which I most certainly had. I asked her if I was willing to come, if she would be able to set aside her anger for a few hours and be friendly, and she said she would do her best to be cordial, but being friendly was too much to ask. She said she would sit in the back and work the whole ride. My question is, do I still owe it to her to go and pick her up? Would it be selfish of me to tell her she needed to work this out on her own? I really don't want to leave her stranded, but I don't feel this is really my responsibility anymore. What do I do here?
Boss looked like a fool, courtesy of me. I worked as a recruiter for a temp agency when I was young and fresh out of college. The manager of the agency was a total micromanager and wanted a say in absolutely everything. She micromanaged everyone so badly that she wanted to proofread any emails that any staff member was sending externally. She also wanted to be CC-ed on every single outgoing external email. One day, one of my coworkers got a response back from an employer who gave some positive feedback about the email she wrote. Our manager made sure to reply all and take credit for the email and explain she oversees all outgoing emails. A few days later, in a staff meeting, she made a point of saying she should get credit for any feedback the agency receives since she proofreads everything. The thing is, this manager was not well-spoken or smart, and not even a particularly good writer. I regularly spotted issues with her sentence structure and use of commas, but just didn't say anything. One day, she's proofreading one of my emails that would be going externally to an employer who pumped a lot of money into our agency. I was stating in the email that I thought so-and-so was a great fit for their vacant position based on so-and-so's past experience. Miss Manager comes to my desk and tells me the email looks good, except it should read past experience. I told her that was incorrect, and she told me I was wrong, and she knows the difference between the two words. I wasn't in the mood to argue, so I wrote it as past experience and CC'd Miss Manager on the email. The employer writes me back and says, as an employer who hires people to work on printed literature, they wanted to correct me and let me know it's actually past experience. That's where malicious compliance kicked in. I hit reply all and thanked them for the feedback and explained my manager values all feedback. And since she proofreads all outgoing emails, she was the one who insisted on writing past experience. The next day, she announced she no longer wanted to proofread outgoing external emails and didn't want to be CC'd on them any further. Malicious compliance put that witch in her place.
I had an odd encounter with the same stranger twice, and now I'm left feeling eerily creeped out. Am I overreacting? I, 36F, was approached by a man at Staples a few weeks ago while shopping. As I was leaving the store, he called me over, and as I got closer, he glanced at my hand and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were wearing a ring. I apologize." It was clear he was planning to hit on me, so I immediately blushed and awkwardly said, "Oh, yeah, thanks," though I went out to the car where my husband was waiting for me, and I playfully bragged about how I just got hit on in the store. He rolled his eyes, and we both laughed about it on the way home. Fast forward to this morning. I was shopping alone at Costco, and I saw the same man from a few weeks ago. We actually made eye contact as we passed one another, and thinking that he recognized me, I gave a polite smile and kept walking. But when I got to the checkout counter, there he was again. When I glanced up, he was staring at me. Before I knew what was happening, he was approaching me. I got this sinking feeling in my stomach and started to feel uncomfortable, instantly. He got close and said, "Hi." I never do this, but are you single? I was completely flabbergasted. He didn't recognize me at all. He had completely forgotten that he had tried to hit on me at Staples a few weeks ago. I couldn't believe it. I just smiled and said, "No, I'm sorry." I'm married, he apologized, and immediately walked away. I couldn't help but feel like I needed to keep one eye on him the entire way out to my car. I'm still feeling very creeped out by this strange encounter. Sure, it could be nothing, and maybe just a coincidence, but I'm left wondering if this man just walks around trying to pick up women everywhere he goes, all hours of the day. Clearly so much so that he can't even remember the duplicates. Or could it be something more sinister? I'm probably reading too much into it, but what do you think? Should I be concerned? Creepy? Or just a very